Yo, what's going on, guys? KrispyFlakes here. So I have a little bit of a story time here. Back in 11th grade, I remember I played for the Boys and Girls Club Recreational Basketball League club. I didn't make the actual, school team or whatever. And there is one particular game that stands out to me. I remember our team was not doing very well. There was this girl up in the stands just nagging me saying, "Look at that sweaty boy out there, man, just making fun." I do sweat a lot. I'm sweaty right now. You can see it. I do sweat a lot. And all I remember thinking was just how fed up I was with it, man. Since kindergarten, people were calling me Strawberry Face. So I had the ball in my hands. In my mind, the only thing I was thinking was, my haters make me greater. So I decided to hit that defender with the little shake and bake crispy flake crossover, drive it to the basket. I was like, I don't care about the fans. Went up there, and unfortunately I did airball the finger roll. But the next day, I passed my driver's training test for the second time. Don't let your haters bring you down. We're checking out the Haters Guide to the 2024 NBA Finals by Piss Plant. Let's check it out.
Call me an old curmudgeon, but I hate the playing games. Cheap cash grabs that put mediocrity on a pedestal. Even then, Miami did.
That's a good point. Mediocrity on a pedestal. That's really what it is.
Still considered
who's going to win and get eliminated?
For the sake of tradition. And this first elimination is one that many fans have celebrated. Are the Warriors finally dead? Am I dreaming? A long menace to an unfucked NBA.
No, they're not. I don't know.
Their downfall.
I guess they might be, because if you're a team like the Lakers, people want to play for the Lakers. I don't really think anybody ever wants to play for the Warriors, It's like they drafted really well, but who was the biggest free agent they ever got prior to drafting, this dynasty? Dwayne The Rock?
Mediocrity invitational to the Kings.
Mitch,
Kinda
The
hard
Rock,
to win when you
Rockman,
turn the ball over
Richmond,
16 times.
Mitch what? Richmond.
Not exactly good when a team known for prowess beyond the arc was substandard in that category. Choked out of Sacramento like Draymond did to Rudy. Revenge granted to their opponent. There will be no miracles here. Clay's headed to the open market and the core might not have much time left. Curry can only chuck threes for so long before his body goes. Three-year magic and delivering winning the franchises has been thwarted. And this might be the end of the road.
Hit the limit of threes.
He will be enshrined at Naismith, but he's like Sauron after the eruption of Mount Doom. No rays. Rest in peace.
Call it the DC arc.
The perpetual jinx that is Sacramento shall continue on. I don't understand. Against most teams, they're a formidable opponent that's versatile and balanced. When they play the Pelicans, they morph into their Vlade Divac' GM days. If you take out their games against New Orleans, the Kings
I guess if you think about it, between how the Kings are built, don't talk about Nick Stauskas. All right, I don't want to talk about it.
Probably been the sixth seed.
That just upset me.
That's how bad things were. Winless in every contest, and most of them were blowouts.
My girlfriend's nephew just showed me a signed Nick Stauskas card.
You're the best player, and you're still getting wrecked by 20.
I have a lot to say about it.
CJ McCollum to 7 points, and you still can't shoot from 3? What the
hell? He also gave me this.
Do you know the lesson here? Don't play your worst basketball just before the playoffs. If you do, you get stuck in mud like the Kings.
Or you could just do what the Pistons do and play your worst basketball for a decade straight. Can't get eliminated if you don't make the playoffs.
Rocked the world and made
also
the
can't get the
conference
first
finals
pick,
a few
man.
years ago. That almost seems like ancient history. In fact, I'm more amazed they made it there when they live up to the modern NBA stereotype. They don't play defense. Even if they tried, they cannot play defense. An open door to showcase the offensive talents of their opponents. Sure, blame injuries, but when you're getting the doors blown off you by the fucking Bulls, it's time to look in the mirror. This franchise needs a hard reset. When the rumors of trading away DeJounte and Trey are as rampant as they are,
want to keep DeJounte over Trey.
Do you really want to build around a guy with a minus 27-point differential on the floor? Things are a mess and the organization's a shit show? Nah, best to bury your head in the sand.
But I'm a bad guy for never really thinking that Trae Young was the guy on a championship team. Yep.
Lottery. It's gonna ask a shitload of issues. Oh no. Detroit got the fifth pick.
I knew you were gonna do this. I knew you were gonna do this. I knew you were gonna bring something up about this. Piss boy. Urinating. You know what? Urinating tree. Wherever you're urinating from, bro. I hope you get a urinating tract infection. I think that's what it's called. You know what? Going into this, I was going to actually make this a drinking game. I was going to say, take a shot for every single... No, I was going to do the over-under. I was going to say over-under 1.5, the amount of times that Urinating Tree makes a Pistons video when a video is about the playoffs. I would have took the over, too, so you owe me $7.
Again? That's
cruel
and
oh my God.
I'm more surprised that the Bulls managed to beat the
I
shit out of a team
talk about him,
before
bro.
this
Not even there, man.
This is entirely predictable from the organizational
We've been chilling at
equivalent of
Little
limbo.
Caesar since damn
Getting scorched
April.
by the heat. A group without Jimmy Buckets at that. If that doesn't scream middling dog shit, I don't know what does. Somewhere Sam Hinkie and Sam Presti wake up in a cold sweat. Chicago needs to be nuked. They have nothing that signifies a playoff caliber roster and are trying to bash through a brick wall with a foam dodgeball. Not to mention DeRozan's a UFA. This is the failure of the playing game. It gives teams like this pretend relevance so they can say nothing's truly wrong. Don't rip the Band-Aid off, there's promise in there somewhere. Did you see how well Kobe White did against Atlanta? No matter what happens to them in a given season, it becomes Groundhog Day in New Orleans. Just like the Groundhog may or may not see his shadow, Zion sees an injury for at least 6 weeks on the show.
Unfortunate.
You already know the rule. No Zion, no winning. Except against the Kings,
are amazing.
There was none of that luck against OKC.
I had Bob Evans
Pelicans
for
were
dinner last
repeatedly struck by lightning.
Fantastic.
This was supposed to be a series? I think people simply forgot to just do an odd at Chet Holmgren and SGA.
Damn,
You wanted
bro.
the smoke?
A blowout.
Well, they brought the thunder. And New Orleans just lied down and died. Send these fuckers to Galveston. The dirty water there will wash them away like refuse on the beach. I'm somehow not surprised
More
by
bubbles.
this. Just because Kobe got a
Buddy.
statue doesn't mean your fortunes will change. The Lakers have been a team in turmoil for a number of years now. And despite constant coaching changes and drama ahoy, they can't seem to find that spark that made them a threat in the past.
Well, yeah, I mean, LeBron is 70 years old. It's not that difficult. The only reason that people, like, I just don't get it. Like, LeBron is a great basketball player, but, like, a 92-year-old is not going to win the NBA championship. He can't be your best player. Nobody can coach that. You know, JJ Redick can't do that. Darvin Ham couldn't do it. Or I guess whoever this new coach is. Let's just realize that LeBron is too old to carry the load. He can manage the load, but he can't carry it. So that's like, I don't understand why people think this is difficult.
Flashes of excellence, but against
Will Smith
Denver,
is on
good luck
Hotline.
with all
It's
that.
pretty cool.
The Nuggets are a nightmare for them matchup-wise. I get that, but did you have to seriously blow double-digit leads at halftime in multiple games? Was that the price for finally beating Joker in a game in the playoffs? Or is it LeBron being critical of officiating? Oh no, you can't get double the free throw attempts of your opponent like in the playing game. We'll feel so sad when you play with Thanasis James. But you shouldn't feel bad at all, Lakers fans.
You think I don't
You
know
have
who's gonna be the
another
coach?
Mickey Mouse trophy to cherish. The in-season tournament? This is the NBA's response to the NFL infringing on Christmas? The biggest story in basketball this side of back-to-back humiliating exits from the playoffs.
Yeah.
Phoenix was hungry to get out of a self-imposed hell.
That's
A
unfortunate
deal with the
for
devil
y'all.
had to be reached. His name happens to be Bradley Beal, a super team rivaling the Brooklyn Nets in size and notoriety. There's only one problem with everything. You have no bench, and you have no point guard. With only 3.5 players on the roster, the supposed
Not gonna
super
say
team
it.
burned into a supernova. Know how bad it got? They got swept by the Timberwolves. Not even swept, more like completely obliterated by them.
When you have no bench and you have a big three, the third piece has to be good enough to justify not having a bench. You know? Like with the Miami Heat. Big three. LeBron, Wade, and then Bosh was that third big three. Bosh was a great third. He was. He played that role nicely, man. With the Suns, you're got Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, Devin Booker. Who's that big three third? Bradley Beal? The dude on the Washington Wizards that's been right down here with my Detroit Pistons his entire career? Oh, except when John Wall was there? I mean, even then you didn't get along with him. Like, he's a shot chucker. He's a guy that he's a YMCA-er. He's a guy that put up a lot of points and occasionally efficient seasons on a very bad team a long time ago. Not a long time ago, but you know, when he was on the Wizards. So
This was a team the
just the
Suns had
honesty,
crushed
man.
all
Just the
season.
honesty.
Mr. Beal, congrats on the first sweep in your life by fouling out in Game 4. What a wonderful package of rewards this will bring. No control of any of their draft
Yeah,
picks
I've never
until
really been a big
2031.
Bradley Beal guy.
Locked into brutal contracts, and Beal doesn't seem keen on showing you mercy. You can't admit total failure in an enterprise, though. Simply cut the head coach's heart out. Frank Vogel will be sacrificed for the rise of
I guess we
Mike
can...
Budenholzer? Nothing like desperation. Breaking news. James Harden is upset. I repeat, James Harden
about the
is
Clippers now?
upset.
What's he pissing
in a
about now?
situation that's never played out in his career, he's off to greener pastures to form
Okay,
a
okay.
championship core with a team that
Why is he
doesn't
mad
get close
now,
to
you
it.
know?
Strange for the Lakers' little brother with a white-hot start to simply wilt like an old flower, but traditions cannot be forgotten. Another notch of failure is added against the Mavericks. What do you think happened? Like the sun setting in the west, Kawhi suffered another injury. Right knee inflammation put the Clippers up in flames. No load management in the world could save them from Luka's wrath. The only reason why more people aren't laughing at the Clippers is because Phoenix happened. Yet even then, the questions linger on. It starts with PG-13. He may have played his last game in LA. Will Kawhi give a decent return on investment
Man,
for his new extension?
I feel like if the Suns could maybe just like flip, like do some sort of maybe like Paul George, Bradley Beal thing. I don't know what that would look like exactly, but I don't know, man. That ain't gonna fix shit either, though. That's gonna be right back to that exit, man.
What happens with
Going
Westbrook?
right back.
Even with a new logo and extending Tyronn Lue, there's still a lingering stench with this franchise. I give it
Yeah,
another
so
3
you just
months
kind of
before
move
Harden
on
gets
to the
upset
new
again.
new age of players.
Buddy, if you keep shitting it in the clutch,
Harden's Reggie
maybe
Miller.
The problem is you. Alas, the voodoo sorcery of undrafted spirits can no longer save you. Miami had that power in seasons past, but against this Boston
Really did.
team, they
Duncan
learned from last year's
Robinson,
horrifying Game
Strus,
7. The
Gabe
Celtics have
Vincent.
that old Irish luck. This leprechaun smoking a victory cigar along with Red up above. When their opponent's best player is unable to play due to an injury suffered in the pity tournament, it's going to be a very short series.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Like Jimmy Butler, you need to go through your Carmelo Anthony era and just realize now you can't be a number one option on a championship team. You can't do it, man. Like you literally, if you want to get a ring or two, go out there and be a third option on a team with some really good shooters, because that's going to space the floor for you to operate. You're still a great, playmaker. But how the Heat culture, it's time to PJ Tucker it and bring that culture somewhere else. You don't got to be in the culture. You just got to be the culture no matter where you go. And you'll win some rings.
Trolling the Celtics on social media, he'll get called out for it by Pat Riley. The problem with the Heat is that they need every single thing to go right for them to go far. Even with an incredible comeback in Game 1, Boston was just way too much for them. Despite no Porzingis in Game 5. Do they have enough to get over the dreaded wall? Jimmy's not exactly a spring chicken anymore.
Well, and Bam's
Frustrating
really just a
endeavor
prime Al
indeed.
Horford.
The more things change, the more they somehow stay the same. At the beginning of the year, there was hope. Billy looking strong, Maxey becoming a star, and
Embiid
Joel
injured.
Embiid putting together an MVP season of envy. Then Embiid got injured. The season was over right there. It's not just that the Sixers are worse without him, and they're nearly useless. They went into free
Who's
fall
their
without
backup
big
center?
man. Despite a
D-Ball
massive
Paul?
return to form once he came back, it wasn't enough to beat the Knicks. You can't stop Jalen Brunson, you get to lose the series. A pure infestation of New York cancer that spread everywhere. Even Wells Fargo Center wasn't immune to a sea of orange and blue. Don't worry, the refs will somehow be blamed for that one too. But even for another predictable series loss, this one doesn't feel as miserable. Tyrese Maxey broke out into a superstar.
I feel like he does that. He's
See
been
his
doing that for
Game
3 years
5?
now.
Fucking incredible. Now, if Embiid manages to stay healthy, they may be able to see the third round for once. It mostly depends on their offseason. They're probably gonna throw all the money at PG-13. Anything
I like
to get
that.
rid of Tobias fucking Harris.
Yeah, that would be nice. Embiid, Paul George, Tyrese Maxey. See, that's the big three that I'm investing in. Not no damn Bradley Beal.
Goose egg in Game 7. Take a bow. You can't shit on Orlando for going out like this. It's been actual ages since the Magic have been anywhere near relevant, and they took a franchise with far more pressure on them to the brink.
I'm curious what
This was
moves
their
they make
learning
this summer.
experience here. They have a potential star core that can lead to more in the future, and they're very, very young. When in doubt, trust in Paulo Banchero. Orlando's problem is one facing many teams. They just don't have enough. Their offense lacks
I don't know if
depth and
it's not that they don't have enough. I think they have too much spread out. I think they got some really solid players in a very deep team. But I think at some point they need to consolidate the roster. You know, trade Jonathan Isaac with Cole Anthony and bring in a all-star point guard, something like that. You know, that's just my opinion.
And the offseason could lead to a fix there. Have you noticed how
Trade
much cap
Anthony
space
Black to a team that's more
I'm
in a
Orlando,
rebuild,
I'm licking my
you know?
damn chops with what's available for the taking. It's the return of a long-lost
You have the
ace
guy
for
in
Magic.
Paolo.
They will load. What a strange feeling this is. If I had an award to give for best comedy, it'd go to the Bucks unanimously.
They did that
what
shit
a
themselves.
hilarious shit show for everyone and their mother to witness. One of the best records in basketball, masking a shitload of team issues and locker room tension. Adrian Griffin was over.
Man, I just can't forget Doc Rivers literally saying like, why are you guys calling me? You know, like what? Yeah, I'll take the contract, sure, give it to me. But why are we doing this?
Roll lost the trust of the players and was beheaded in front of
Because
my
there's nobody
shop.
better to go for in that case.
Their answer to this was apparently a 2008 vintage. Fucking Doc Rivers.
Yeah, bro, that's like
Griffin's
Larry Brown
mentor.
coaching, man.
Are you trying to blow games or something? In-season collapses, a lack of roster cohesion, and the inevitable
Dang.
feeling they'd lose to an inferior opponent on paper were just a smattering of features available. The rest were injuries to Dame and Giannis. A 2-for-1 deal. Not that it mattered, they were a mess with them dressed anyway. This was a cratering so
Yeah,
massive
I'm noticing
that they
lately
lost to a
too,
team that
Damian
had...
Lillard does not have as many lovers as he used to. Like, people were in my comments just really talking about Damian Lillard. Let's talk about like the gap between him and Curry, and like I guess people think it's a lot larger than what I think it is. I don't think the gap between Lillard and Curry is that ridiculously large. But
won a series in a decade.
that's going based off his
Back-to-back
Portland
ugly
time,
first-round
so.
losses to go with. The head coach carousel have proven that the Bucks owe their good reputation to a toe on the three-point line. Any other outcome, they'd be the chokers of the decade. The only accurate passing by the Bucks in April is Pat Bev throwing the ball at fans.
Ooh.
I cannot comment any further on his
Is that
actions since I'm
CSB?
not subscribed to his
I'm
podcast.
just joking, man.
They know what a pro wants. What a pro needs. Whatever makes me happy. Sets you free. And I'm thanking you for knowing exactly what a pro wants. What a pro needs. Whatever makes me happy sets me free. And I'm thanking you for knowing exactly what a pro wants. What a pro needs. Whatever makes me happy.
Deserve to lose with that fucking commercial alone.
Oh.
Short the shit out of AT&T. Don't be too upset, OKC. With that cap
I would've
space
done
and
the
extremely
cover.
young roster, you'll be back. Title defense, huh? What the fuck was that? Is this supposed to be the mark of a champion? The Nuggets
Is
were
it
two
too late for
contrasting
Anthony Edwards to
franchises
become my
against
favorite player?
Minnesota. First two games, fucking terrible.
is that
Smacked
man
around
ranking
at
too
Mile
much?
High. Somehow unable to stop a
Man,
damn
that was
and and
jumper.
two giants by his side. Then bring reality into
Feel
the
like a
picture with
linebacker,
3 straight
bro.
wins. Their true potential realized.
I'm
to the
so
brim.
I'm so happy that Anthony Edwards. I'm sick of clinky ass Jokic doing everything all the time, bro. With this, you know, it's like he's just so clunky, bro.
Endless chances to finish
Some
off and bury
highlights,
these
man.
Wolves in a mass grave. So what the hell was game
Bowl
6?
lights.
Denver went to shit.
Boring lights.
Actual shit. How do you not score double digits in the fourth quarter?
Wow.
As a team.
Been in my basketball team.
Game
tell you how.
7 turned out to be even worse. Championship contenders tend to hold 20-point leads, you know. Did anyone show up in this series besides Murray and Joker? Michael Porter Jr.? You there? Maybe they can make a three-pointer
Yeah,
when
bad
needed.
Steve. Yeah, I was just bad
Good
on
Lord,
it.
what an
Series will be fine.
absolute disaster.
He'll be okay.
Minnesota saw a complacent team and pounced.
Whew,
Ants
ruined
just
it.
teabagging your grave. This is more humiliating than that Brazilian Twitter account.
He's down. Donovan's
What was that? Didn't hear about that one.
from New York, cheering his son on.
When will people learn? We've been over this fucking scenario countless times over the last decade, yet they keep tempting fate. It's like the Candyman.
I don't mind
Say
them
you
being
walk Boston 3
competitive.
times in front of a basketball court. Don't be shocked about what happens as a result. The Celtic Candyman likes to take a pound of flesh or 6 from those that call to him. As he swings his knife, he took out a bunch of players.
04 Pistons would
Donovan
beat that
Mitchell
team,
out for the
though,
last
both
few
of them.
games of the series.
And that they teamed up.
Then comes back and takes out LeVert and Allen too. Slaughtered. No mercy. Everyone and their mother's now pissed at Jarrett, but it's indicative of the Caps franchise. They've stalled out. Not developing as expected. Chaos and
I don't
concern
think Jarrett
around
would have made
every
the
corner.
difference.
JV Bickerstaff's seat is searing hot as the team keeps collapsing in big situations. Are the lights still too bright for them? Where do they go from here? Or for the third coming of La GM? Better luck of winning the
That'd be kind of
Powerball.
fun, but don't really need to see it.
Transported to the mid-90s. The the Indiana Pacers humiliating the New York Knicks in the playoffs.
Ooh,
Some more
dang,
expect
man.
Reggie Miller's doing the choking taunt with this revelation. So what caused their demise? Everyone pretty much died. That's all there is to it. Julius Randle's been out since April due to a season ender. Bojan Bogdanovic got shot from range against Philly. Mitchell Robinson lost his ankle
Dang,
again
all
in
these
game
sound
1 of the
effects, man,
damn
you're in
series.
my ear.
OG's hamstring
Stop.
decided to get finicky at the worst possible
You're playing
time.
Operation.
And add even more on top of that. Not bad enough the Knicks somehow got punished for crimes dating back to Isaiah Thomas. With their roster decimated, Indiana continues their survival by simply
three.
not fucking up. Although I don't know if shooting 67% from the floor in a Game 7 is merely passable. A magical run undone by the clock striking midnight. As it happens, Jalen Brunson breaks his hand. It was
Yeah, it
over
really
by that
sucked.
point anyway. Oh no, you guys, ESPN can't talk about the Knicks for 4/5 of the broadcast. What a horrible tragedy. This was the chance for the
what?
Timberwolves
Undisguised
to
what?
overcome every single narrative out there.
What?
To turn themselves into household names, to get that last laugh about the Rudy Gobert trade, to show the world that they're for real. Nas Reed, for Christ's sake! Stereotypes exist for a reason. In typical Minnesota fashion, the Wolves became Kyrie's philosophy on the earth. Flat. You make for Lucas Endless whining and Kanye Irving.
I mean, do you really call Gobert a significant advantage in the paint? And can't just say this bitch just have a 3-point line, so ain't nobody, the paint's wide open, man. He's got to draw, well, okay, if Rudy's in there, you got to draw him out to the perimeter, though, and sauce him
Be
up.
nice if that advantage came true.
Just like I did in
Couldn't
front
convert
of the
from range.
sweaty.
Role players are going to be free agents this summer. These next few months will be the difference between a disaster and
they
the
got
first
Edwards,
title in
they're
Minnesota
fine.
since HW was president. There's work to be done. Get busy.
I would argue and say that this team was initially more built around Cat than it was Edwards. Like, Edwards is making it work. But I think you go into the offseason without a doubt in your mind, like, we got to build around primarily Anthony Edwards. In Cat, you might be there or you might not. So,
Hate to be the bearer of
I
bad
actually
news,
think
but
it's a
the
good
Pacers
fit,
are no
but,
longer up against an injury-riddled mess or living soap opera. They get Boston. Even if the fans plead for mercy, the Celtics are simply going to kill their firstborn sons to prevent the state from thriving again. For Indiana, that sacrifice is going to be Tyrese Halliburton. Turns out tempting fate has its consequences. The rest comes in the games themselves.
Ew, that's an
Game
ugly
1 up
shot,
by
man.
3.
It's like-
All you have to do is you fuck the ball. And Jaylen Brown tied a game in the final moments. And you blow it. Great. Game 3. A 16-point lead in the third quarter. Hold this lead in the
Yo,
series
see, I can
has
kind of play
been-
old school ball sometimes, though,
Game
man. I like it.
4.
He's like Rashid
Another
and Lamar
lead.
Odom.
They blew it again. No points in the final 3.5 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah, this team is cursed. A tremendous season delivered with a punch to the face.
What a boring way to
Now the
end
question
your
lies with
season.
Pascal Siakam. Does he want to stay here or will he pull a PG-13 and move on?
Where would he go?
Simply try for PG-13 again? They have the cap space to do it. Larry Bird isn't going to try to make him into a power forward again. It still stings nonetheless. What the hell could have caused such...
Where should Pascal go?
Every damn time. Oh, what fantastic shit shows we have on
Hindsight sucks
display.
when you're confident before
Super
winning.
teams crumbling into dust, sprinkled on top of an endless wave of injuries to key players. It's a war of attrition, and there are only 2 teams that remain standing. Dallas against Boston. And I wonder
game was
what
that
side
from?
most of the
Again,
world's gonna
forgot.
be on. Quite impressive
Zelda?
of the Mavericks to revive
that
from...
Zelda?
Let me look up the words I said about them last year. A
No, that sounded like maybe
gigantic
Mega Man.
train wreck.
Or
The
Sonic.
disaster was quickly recovered on the backs of 2 superstars that developed a chemistry that's the envy of the league. Luka and Kyrie. The team depth hasn't been there for the most part, but when Doncic is pulling the bullshit he has on a consistent
Hey, I'm
basis...
still going to give myself
who
this
needs-
quick double pat on the back, too, because I said before the season how great Derek Lively was going to be. I said he was going to be like a 17-10 type of player, man. I just saw, like, and I said, I see him, too, with his length, and I just really think that, we are kind of in this weird era where it's the return of the big man, but it's kind of like in a different way. Like, it's more so the beginning of the guard big man era, bro. Hi, bro. But you know what I'm saying, right? Where it's like Jokic got all that, kind of thing that he can do out there. but you also need those perimeter type of lengthy centers to play defense on. I mean, I feel like Derek Lively kind of fits that. Like, he can do it all, man. He's gonna be
PJ
important,
Washington's been the third wheel.
He's got the height.
Being a solid trade deadline piece for the team. Plus, there's the dreaded law firm of Derek,
I
and
love
Daniel as
Gafford,
forwards
too.
and big men.
Love Gafford.
In these finals, the two-headed monster is going
I'm
up
rooting for
against
the
the
Mavs.
basketball equivalent of a Death Star. Do you try to stop Jason Tatum? Or perhaps Jaylen Brown can be controlled? If
Keep
they
him to the
can, you
left.
have to deal
He's
with the ageless
joking.
Al Horford.
Stupid old
What
joke.
about Drew Holiday? Making us realize that Boston was the real winner of the Dame trade. Let's not forget the Swiss Army knife known as Derek White. Also note that Porzingis was out for a good chunk of these playoffs. And they still dominated regardless of opposing injuries. On paper,
Wow,
the Celtics have the
might
depth and
just-
advantage in the paint, but Dallas more than makes up
Sleep.
for it with high-end star power. Either way, we will be getting a
Gonna wait.
somewhat fresh champion. Building a statue for Luka or for Billy King. Now, I firmly believe that the Mavs will make this an interesting series unless the fans do something like tempt fate or defy the gods. Congrats to the Celtics on the series.
All right, guys, that's all we got for this video. Hope you guys all enjoy the NBA Finals. I don't know if I'm going to do reactions to the games or not. I don't know if I feel like dealing with the copyright stuff, if I'm being honest, but we'll see. Thank you all so much for watching. Peace out, my friends.